Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a heated row erupts into an alleged assault in Parliament today. Ahead tonight, we'll tell you what brought it on. Why Marco Archer's accused killer is due back in court. The answer coming up in the Bahamas tonight. And we'll tell you about celebrations marking International Women's Day. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, St. Thomas More MP Frank Smith is denying an assault allegation tonight. Prime Minister Hubert Ingram made the charge today after Smith fought over a microphone with Deputy House Speaker Kwesi Thompson. This as Thompson presented a minority report on the road infrastructure project despite the objection of the opposition. Janaea Noel Ferguson has details.
The lives of thousands of families.
Utter chaos erupted in the House of Assembly after House Speaker Alvin Smith ruled that Kwesi Thompson, Deputy Speaker and MP for Pine Ridge, could table his minority report from the Public Accounts Committee. Opposition members called the move unparliamentary. Committee Chairman Bain and Grantstown MP Dr. Bernard Nottage pointed out that Thompson never brought the report before the committee, so it should not be considered.
Under normal circumstances, I would expect it to be brought to my attention at a meeting held for the purpose. This is not a meeting holding it for the purpose, Mr. Speaker. Let the member obey the rules. Mr. Speaker, that's all we're asking. We have to be fair here. We have to be just here. The Public Accounts Committee.
Amidst shouts, jeers, and knocking on desks by opposition members, Thompson proceeded with the minority report, which criticizes the majority report tabled Monday. One member, MP for St. Thomas More, Frank Smith, even went as far as blocking Thompson's mic to prevent him from being heard. PLP Deputy Leader Philip Davis, MP for Fort Charlotte Alfred Sayers, and MP for St. Thomas More Frank Smith all sought to convince the Speaker that this report should not be allowed. Opposition members also lambasted the Speaker for his ruling.
I feel ambushed by you, sir. I know how my members say.
And that's totally a misrepresentation.
Why is it a misrepresentation?
Because even before...
No, why is it a misrepresentation?
Take your seat, please.
However, it was an alleged move by Smith that Prime Minister Hubert Ingram took exception to.
I said to the member for St. Thomas More, assaulted
right on the member for North Abaco?
Assaulted the member for Pine Ridge, and I said how he did so. I said he tried to take the mic out of his hand, and he was holding on to him and pulling him in the back there. I saw it with my own eyes.
I never touched the member.
Yes,
I never physically touched the member.
Which of your...
The member stood on the side of me, and the member did touch me.
The objection from the opposition did not stop there. A press conference was called immediately following the suspension of the House. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Well, at that press conference, Public Accounts Committee Chairman Dr. Bernard Nottage took great pains to explain that there was never any objection to a minority report. In fact, he said it helped ensure balance and could affect the content of the majority report, which was intended to be non-political and non-partisan. According to the Bain and Grantstown MP, the actions of the Pine Ridge MP demonstrated a distinct partisan bent, as he was observed sharing the contents of the report with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Brent Simonet, whose ties to Bahamas hot mix have been the subject of controversy.
The reason why we took the position we took was not because we didn't want a minority report to be tabled, because there's nothing in this minority report that could stand the test of scrutiny against the majority report that I read into the records of Parliament on Monday, and which Mr. Ingram's own report almost fully endorses. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, the Parliament is a place where there are rules and there are customs which ought not to be abridged. And what the Speaker did today was, in our view, use of his position as Speaker of the Assembly.
Fort Charlotte MP Alfred Sayre said the Speaker's decision was inconsistent with the rules of the House and cited Rule 21, subsection 26, which says that the report of a committee along with the minutes, transcripts of evidence and documents shall be presented to the House by the chairman or by a member on his behalf. Sayre said the functioning of the Public Accounts Committee is crucial to the proper functioning of Parliament, and today's events were an attempt to subvert the process.
The Speaker acted contrary to the rules, as well as contrary to the democratic practice. I, as you would have recalled, attempted to assist the Speaker by presenting him with authorities of the parliamentary practice from Canada, from Australia, and a number of other jurisdictions. That was really to no avail. So I just wish for myself, as the Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte, to express my disappointment that the Speaker allowed the oversight function of the Parliament to be subverted in this way.
Now, Prime Minister Ingram called today's exchange in the House of Assembly disgraceful, going on to say that in his more than 3 decades as a Member of Parliament, he's never seen a member behave as the St. Thomas More MP did today.
I think that the way the PLP carried on in Parliament this morning speaks for itself. I've been in Parliament now for 34 years. No political party has ever carried on like that over any issue at any time. It was absolutely disgraceful and unbecoming. But as I said at a public meeting recently, as election gets nearer, the PLP will become more and more desperate. And they'll get nastier in terms of the things they say and do. And today was merely an example of that.
Now, as the political campaign heats up, so has the tenor of campaign jabs. Today, Mr. Ingram responded to the PLP's Tall Pines candidate, Leslie Miller, who wanted to call for a truce.
None of it should happen on either side, and the call by Leslie Miller this morning for it to cease is after he did one of the nastiest things ever undertaken by any politician on the platform in the Bahamas. It's unnecessary, and then of course, you know, I get irked and offended when I see people like the Nassau Guardian this morning seeking to compare my saying that Gomez came to the Party for Politics late as one of the low blows thrown in the election campaign. That too is unbecoming because it's untrue, totally untrue. And the propagandists at the Guardian who stuck that in that story written by Tanika Thompson should stop doing that.
Also from the House of Assembly this morning, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Tommy Turnquest, tabled an agreement between the Bahamas and Cuba for the delimiting lines between our maritime zones. On October 3, 2011, Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet signed that agreement. Minister Turnquest said the defining of our borders has been of great national importance since independence.
It defines territory over which the Bahamas has exclusive jurisdiction, ensuring that the Bahamas is able to retain the approximately 100,000 square miles it considers its national waters and has acquired the full expanse of maritime space in all instances where this was possible, considered by our experts as an extremely favorable outcome for the Bahamas.
Now, Turnquest said the agreement also clarifies that the Bahamas has exclusive national rights over mineral and biological resources in its territory.
For example, the Bahamas, through this maritime boundary, has legal certainty as it relates to current oil licenses. With this settled boundary line, the oil licenses that have been granted by the Bahamas will fully rest within the jurisdiction of the Bahamas.
Now, Turnquest said that the agreement bodes well for future relations between the two countries and that this is the first in a series of agreements that will result in the Bahamas achieving its long-desired goal of delimiting its maritime zones with other neighboring countries. Minister of Works Nico Grant announced in the House of Assembly this afternoon that starting tomorrow, motorists will be able to pay their fixed traffic penalties online. It's all a part of the government's mandate to encourage e-government. He also tabled the fixed penalty regulations, which will impose fines for a variety of infractions, including failing to heed to the seatbelt laws and dumping debris along public roadways. It's been decades since the Progressive Liberal Party secured parliamentary representation in Long Island, and opposition party officials are confident that they can change that in 2012. PLP leader Perry Christie urged Long Islanders last night to make it happen as the party officially opened its Long Island constituency office in Sims. Our Altavise Munnings was there.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Perry Christie took Long Island supporters down memory lane Wednesday night as he told them that the PLP was actually born there 60 years ago from the dreams of the late Sir Henry Taylor, the late Cyril Stevenson, and Bill Cartwright. And it's those dreams of hope, prosperity, and unity that the PLP wants Long Islanders to adopt in 2012.
We knew how important it was for an island where the people has a history of industriousness. An island where if you invest in the people of this island, they are of the quality in this island where they will return that investment tenfold.
Mr. Christie also outlined ways the next PLP government will enhance Long Island's fishing industry. The PLP leader made it clear that his new administration is committed to long-term fixes in order to sustain smaller economies.
I want you to know that the commitment I'm making tonight is to ensure that Long Island begins the progressive move forward to bring it into the 21st century, and we will ensure that that is done.
The PLP leader also used the opportunity, though, to vent on what he brands as the Free National Movement's lies. He particularly expanded on the New Providence Road Improvement Project's $100 million over budget that he says could have been earmarked for the needs of the people.
At least now you know, though, why there is no money to improve the infrastructure down here in Long Island. At least you know why the government has not been able to hire more of your children or provide more scholarships for them. At least you know now why there's no money to get serious about agriculture. At least now you also know why the whole country is in such bad shape. He is the worst prime minister in the history of the Bahamas.
Mr. Christie fully endorsed the party's Long Island candidate, Alex Storr, whom he says can get the job done. In fact, the PLP leader told Long Islanders that Storr selected Long Island over a New Providence constituency. Mr. Storr also outlined his goals for Long Island once elected.
I will push for the creation of an insurance fund to protect farmers against financial losses, hardships caused by natural disasters.
Mr. Christie admitted that Long Island and the PLP had a bad breakup in the past, but he's asking that they put all their regrets aside and vote PLP during the 2012 general elections. Reporting from Sims, Long Island, I'm Altavise Munnings, ZNS News.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the company which facilitates electronic monitoring defends its operation amidst claims that the system has been compromised. That story is still to come.